You're sitting on the couch, quiet, and you feel it. That soft weight of a stare. You turn and your dog is looking right at you, deep into you. Then, just as quickly, they flick their eyes away. Almost human. It looks simple, but it's not. And what your dog just detected in that moment might actually change the way you see them forever. Most people are sure they know what just happened. They think it's submission, confusion, or boredom. But that's not the real reason. Number 1. It doesn't mean what you think. Let's start with what's commonly assumed. When a dog looks at you and then looks away, it's often interpreted as a calming signal, a gesture meant to ease tension. And yes, that happens sometimes. But here's the problem with that explanation. It assumes your dog is thinking about themselves, their own fear, their own position in the house. And that's not really how canine psychology works at all. Because before your dog ever worries about dominance or politeness, they're already reading something far more ancient, something most people ignore completely without realizing it. It doesn't mean what you think. In fact, it almost means the opposite. But here's what most people never stop to question. What exactly is your dog reacting to in that moment? But to understand why, you have to look at what your dog noticed before that moment even happened. Number 2. It happens before you realize. Here's where it gets strange. That glance away happens so fast you barely register it. But your dog has already processed 3 things you didn't even notice you were doing. First, the tension in your jaw. Second, the micro movement of your pupils. Third, the rhythm of your breath. All of it happening in a sequence your dog reads instantly without hesitation. It happens before you realize you're anxious, before you realize you're sad, before you've even had time to understand what you're feeling in that moment. And that's where things start to shift in a way most people never expect. Before you've said a single word. A study from the University of Tokyo found that dogs can distinguish between human emotional tears and other liquids, and they respond faster to sad or tense faces than neutral ones. But that's not the strange part, and this is where most people misunderstand what's actually happening. The strange part is why they look away right after. It's not because they're confused, and it's not because they lost interest. So if it's not confusion, and it's not disinterest, then what exactly are they responding to in that moment? What most people don't realize is that your dog is actually protecting you from something, reacting before the situation has even fully formed in your awareness. But not the thing you think. And by the time you notice the look, they've already decided how to respond. Number 3. There's a reason for this. In 2015, researchers at the University of Portsmouth made a discovery that changed how we see dog communication. They found that dogs can follow human eye gaze without training, something that reveals just how closely your dog is tracking your behavior in real time. But here's what's often overlooked, and this is where the explanation most people rely on starts to reveal something deeper. When a dog looks at you, then looks away, they aren't avoiding you. They're scanning. And once you start seeing that pattern, it becomes impossible to unsee. But that pattern isn't what most people expect. A study from Hungary's Eötvös Loránd University showed that dogs' brains react to human emotional sounds similarly to human brains, meaning your dog is not just observing you, they are processing you. That means when you feel anxious, even slightly, your dog's brain activates faster than your awareness. Now add the evolutionary layer. Wolves don't stare at pack leaders, but they do watch for the smallest shift in mood before a conflict starts, because reacting too late in that environment has consequences. Your dog inherited that survival instinct. That glance away, it's not submission, it's intelligence. A third study from Duke University's Canine Cognition Center confirmed that dogs seek eye contact with humans to gather emotional data, not just to communicate, but to understand. So every time your dog looks at you, they're literally asking, "What state are you in?" And every time they look away, they're processing that answer in real time. That reason is older than both of us. Number 4. The moment you should notice. But if your dog suddenly looks at you, then away, then back, faster than normal, that's not routine scanning anymore. That's detection, and it's happening in real time whether you notice it or not. Animal behaviorists call this alternating gaze. And in the wild, it happens when an animal isn't sure if a threat is real or imagined, a moment where hesitation can actually matter. And this is the moment most people completely miss, even though it's happening right in front of them. This is the moment you should notice. Because your dog isn't looking away because they're done with you, even if that's what it looks like on the surface. They're looking away to check the room, the window, the hallway, then back to you, moving between points faster than most people even realize. And what they're comparing in that moment is more important than it seems. They're comparing two realities, your emotional state versus the environment, and those two don't always match the way you think they do. And if those two don't match, your dog will keep doing that flick until they decide who to trust, repeating the behavior until the situation makes sense to them, themselves, or you. Most people miss this moment entirely, but your dog never does. Number 5. This is what your dog is telling you. So no, that little look away isn't a glitch. It's not disrespect, and it's definitely not guilt, even though that's what it might look like at first glance. But here's the part most people never realize. And once you see it, it becomes impossible to ignore. This is what your dog is telling you. I see you. I'm checking on you, and I'm ready if you need me, even before you realize you do. It's one of the most honest forms of love an animal can offer. It's quiet, constant, and easy to miss. Because your dog is quietly, constantly asking, "Are you okay? And should I be worried for you?" even when nothing seems wrong on the surface. And most people never stop to ask themselves why their dog is paying attention in that way. That glance is a conversation without words, a second of vulnerability from an animal that would rather look away than stare too long and accidentally challenge you. They're not avoiding you. They're giving you space to feel what you feel, while staying connected to you in a way most people never notice, and then watching to see if you come back. That's not instinct, that's attention. And most of us miss it every single day, even though it's happening right in front of us. If you want to understand what your dog is actually thinking in the moments that matter most, subscribe, because this is just one of the signals most people never even realize their dog is showing them.